All right, bro. So we are on here with Kev, the coach, helping nice guys get through breakups. What's going on, man?
You got it, man. That's me, brother. That's me. I'm doing great. I'm excited to chat with you and give the people, right, something to leave this episode, this content with, something to take home with them, right? So I'm
All
ready to
right,
dive into it, brother.
let's do it, man. Let's do it. First off, tell everybody about your story. What got you into this?
Yes, brother. So I think, like many of us, if we've come across your YouTube channel, right, we've probably failed with women, right? It's usually
Yeah,
with women. So with
yeah.
me, my thing, third time's a charm. I had the third breakup was like, what is going on? I
Oh
was
my
a
goodness.
wreck. I hit a wall, guys. I hit an absolute wall. Anxiety. I thought I had real anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
like in depression and all these things, because
Uh-huh.
basically what was happening was I was chasing these women out of my life. That's what I like to say. It sounds aggressive,
Uh-huh.
like you're chasing her, but like,
You're running
but
after
like
her.
really what most guys could probably relate to is like when you lose a woman, it kind of feels that way, like you did something, right? Like, that's like, why did she leave? The accountable people, right? Because they're watching your page because they're accountable. They're like, they want to learn from their
Yes.
past. The non-accountable people, they won't be watching this.
The not
They'll
accountable
be
people.
saying, they won't be watching. So with me, guys, like my background, I messed up 3 times in a row, and I was like, I gotta turn this around. So I figured out, and I like, your page is like life coaching is, right? It's like turning your life around. So I realized what I was doing wrong is I was not prioritizing my purpose, being driven. You get into these relationships, even when you're
Uh-huh.
dating, right? And it's easy if you meet this beautiful woman and she's this spicy senorita, she's got it going on,
It's a good one,
and like,
spices in your ear.
you know what I mean? Like, she's
Yeah,
kind of just
bro.
got you. She got you into her spell a little bit. It's hard not to
Yeah,
think about her when you go home. Like when you meet
absolutely.
the real ones, like, and it's like you forget. Like, the reason that happens is because we kind of just get, well, one, if she does that to you, then she's a good one. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But but
yes,
but
I
two,
agree.
yeah, but two, it's like, especially when she's that good, that's when we gotta like really lock in on our career, whatever we're doing at the time. Be
Hmm.
like, get right back into it, because we all know, right, at the end of the day, our work, our purpose, like when we're feeling good about ourselves, like we're usually doing good. Is when we get out of line and start thinking about her.
Yes.
That's when like it all just starts to get a little weird. She kind of like isn't responsive,
Hmm.
and we feel kind of needy. So that's my like that's my background of neediness, insecurity, all these
Uh-huh.
things. And that's why I'm coaching now, brother. And I think a lot of us out here that are coaching, it's just like, we're here to kind of teach the failures, right, on the failures of our past, so that guys don't have to make these mistakes.
Dude, it's still awesome that you're doing it, to be honest. But like what are some of the main signs or some of the main things that you were
Mhm.
going through at the time that you think a lot of guys are going through as well when it comes to like breakup? And also, at
Mhm.
what point did you realize this shit is not working for me anymore? You're just like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm obviously doing something wrong, right?
Yeah, that's good. Like the signals, right? The
Yeah.
common signals. Well, like, one is like, if you start thinking about her post date, or maybe you've been dating for a while, and it happens, maybe not all at once, but it's like a tumbleweed. It can kind of just gradually get bigger.
Hmm.
When you start, you can kind of, if you pay attention to your thoughts, and maybe hopefully some of you are a little bit into mindfulness, maybe a little bit of meditation. I definitely would subscribe that to you now, because I was not doing that when I was younger. But you can kind of pay attention to your subconscious, and it's thinking about her, and it's what happens. It starts to like overcome you, and it's like this overwhelming feeling of like you're almost putting her on this pedestal that she doesn't even want to be on it,
Yes,
but we're
100%.
but we're doing it because we're like, we're infatuated. We've like put this person on this pedestal, and obviously it's impossible to win that person over when you're putting them on this sort of pedestal. So
Absolutely.
what I realized what was happening, and these are kind of the signals pieces too, is like, you find yourself, if you're not like working out as regularly, you might be skipping some of those friends hangouts, right?
For
Like,
her.
that's when you kind of got to check yourself and be like, yeah, for her. And it's like, why did I just do that? Like, it's like, you have to convince yourself, if you haven't yet, then this is what you need to do before you even talk about getting women. You have to basically put yourself in a position where you love yourself more than anyone else, first and foremost, because then what happens is you'll have this really like high self-respect for who you are and what you're about.
Absolutely.
Right.
The
So then,
self-image.
exactly. So then, and it's not like egotistical. It's just like you love yourself so much that you would never, compromise on your boundaries and your values. And at the time, when I was making these mistakes, my self-love, like we talk about my purpose, like none of it was really there yet. I was still young and like getting my shit together. And a lot of you might be really young, getting your shit together too. Age doesn't always matter, as we know. You can be 40 and getting your shit together. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter.
Or you can be 50, it's super immature.
Yeah, life's a journey. We all know that. So, but if you want to succeed with women, I'm just being point blank with you guys. That's the thing we need to get right, because otherwise it's just so easy. What I call is like you fall off center. Like you kind of, you're say you're grounded. So maybe you're a single guy, you're grounded, you're confident, you're going to the gym every week, you got your friends, your social life's popping, your work feels pretty good. And then you meet that girl, right? She just kind of like, she kind of like rocks you, you're just like, damn, she's just unbelievable. And these are all great things. But it's just when we start to like put her, and we start to think that we're supposed to like put her now as a priority. Oh, I need to get this girl. It's like, no, bro, like you're going to get her, whatever you want to say it. Like, you know what I mean? If you just kind of be patient and allow her to like realize that you are the man, you don't have to sell yourself, like what you've been doing already has sold her. That's how you got her attention in the first place.
To begin with.
Exactly.
So let's focus on what was working and do more of that to begin with, as opposed to bending backwards and then thinking, oh, wait, I have to free up my schedule today, even though I was going to go to the gym, but she wants to hang out. But no, it doesn't work that way.
Exactly, dude. You got to it's like leveraging yourself. It's like, it's not like we're being disrespectful or anything, but like, it's just like you are most important. Your goals, your career, like, I mean, if you look at it from like a spirituality perspective, I don't know if anyone's like super spiritual here that listens to your show, but maybe they will be after listening to this, which would be super cool. But if you look at like just your whole experience in life, you have to admit it's very uniquely yours, like your perspective, like you are on this own journey by yourself, right? Like sometimes we like to feel like, we get someone and they're our partner, and they are. But it's still you. You know what I mean?
It's your journey plus her journey, and you guys are like kind of coming together. But it's still your journey at the end. It's still her journey too.
Exactly. So the point is like make sure your experience is well prioritized over hers. And I like to use the word experience because like it kind of just goes to show like your emotions, how you're feeling, like that's experience, right? Like that's more relative to people. And if your experience is like you're starting to get like depressed or anxious and stuff, you got to look back at what have you been doing the past few weeks, months? Like, have you gotten off your game? Like you're not, because we feel good when we're doing shit that like like contributes to our life.
Anything that makes us feel like we're progressing, it's always like, okay, this is definitely, it feels good somehow. It's like you go to the gym. Before going to the gym, you were lazy. After going to the gym, even though you exerted a lot of effort, you're like, wait, I feel good now. It's because
in the gym, go ahead.
It's because you're progressing, number one. Number two, your body's releasing a lot of dopamine and a lot of all these feel-good chemicals and these feel-good hormones. So you're naturally going to feel good and you're progressing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like another task off the list for the day. Like, things that you're supposed to be doing, check. You know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. And that's it too. Like the gym is the perfect example because I think like most guys, like we can kind of relate to the gym a lot. Most guys, we can relate to like fitness because most people have worked out at least once, like, whether, you know what I mean? Like, because we all had gym class growing up or something, you know what I mean? Like we all had to move our bodies at one point in our life, whether you're 25 and you haven't worked out in a few years, you've been off your game. You probably remember what it was like to hit the gym and feel that sort of like, oh man, I did not want to come here, before, but I'm really glad I did. I feel really good. I'm sweating. And we all know that, good sweat and a good workout is really good for your mental health.
Yes, absolutely.
But this example of the gym and working out is actually a great example of what we're talking about here, and like building your life, your self-love. Because ultimately going to the gym is like, you can look at it as like a sacrifice. Like you don't really want to be there. You know what I mean? Like
Honestly, no.
most people, yeah. I mean, like, let's just be real. Like that work you have to put in. I mean, some of us maybe have told ourselves we like it, and that's cool too. Whatever gets you to the fucking gym.
Whatever gets you to the result.
You know what I mean? Like, just get the workout in. That's great. But I mean, it's this idea of like sacrifices, and this is a really cool topic because I know we were just talking about it right before we jumped on. And I did a training with my group, my guys in my group, about this too. And it's like how important sacrifices are. It's like we have to look at our lives. Because some guys are hearing this and like, man, like, just give me the tips on how I get the lady. It's like, yes, there are some little things we could talk about, right, in dating that, and like systematically, right, techniques, pick up an approach that are to get the lady for sure. But I think me and you, we both are like, well, the long game though is like if I build a lifestyle that's super dope, like
yes, and then naturally do it.
Exactly. It's like, imagine the types of women you're going to attract when you do that instead of when you're broke, and you're seeing what scraps you can get at the club. It's like, I mean, you can do that, man. But going back to the sacrifice, it's like, we're all making sacrifices here. We're all like, some of us, maybe we had to do jobs we didn't want to do. Maybe we had to quit jobs we didn't want to have to quit. We had to leave a job to go to another job to do more work because we wanted to make more money. These are all sacrifices. So like, yeah, look at your success with women and look at it from like a disciplined approach. It's like, what sacrifices can I make in my daily, weekly, monthly sort of routine that are going to like help me feel more confident about myself, so that these ladies can feel that confidence and they're like, damn, like he hasn't hit me up. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
Kevin hasn't hit me up. Kevin, oh my God, Kevin hasn't hit me up in the past week. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Dude, like we all want to be that guy that our girls, whoever we met or we're dating, or it's maybe our girlfriend, like, dude, if you have a girlfriend or wife and she still goes over to her friends' houses for wine, and she's still talking about you, like, oh, he's just so, like, you are killing it,
Of course.
You definitely, you do, because it's like marriage and that shit's a little bit harder, but dating, we want to be that guy.
Of course.
That they're at the wine, they're drinking wine with their friends, and like, well, he took me here, and
yes.
Like, in order to be that, like, we do have to be confident. We can't like we can give you game and be like, well, yes, you want to take her to a darkly lit bar, intimate setting, maybe some candles, like that stuff's gonna help. But if you don't have like the juice because you didn't hit the gym,
the fundamentals, yes,
you know what I mean, like that, you're not gonna be able to execute.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys, man, it's a really good point that you just mentioned, because a lot of these guys, they're like, even friends sometimes, like, yo, how do I get girls like you, or how to do this? I'm like, I'm not going to teach you magic or hocus pocus. Like, oh, you say this, and then 2 minutes later, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. You have to, it's all grounded in fundamentals, right? If you want to attract a specific type of woman, you have to be that specific type of guy. Vice versa. If she's a gym rat and you're 300 pounds overweight, more than likely it's not going to work out unless you're like a celebrity or something and you have status. Which doesn't mean that they're superficial, because some people are like, oh, these women are superficial. No, that's just status. Let's just be 100%. Real. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. And guys, like, we can get away with some of that. Like you just said, like, we could be some big homie who's just like got his purpose and shit together, and that's realistic. But I mean, all of us here, I want us all to be healthy, regardless.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? But like
the gym, guys.
It's a fantastic point, man. Like, it's I don't want anyone to be like listening to this and being like freaked out. Well, I don't have my shit together. Like, how am I supposed to win, right in this moment? Okay, well, let's take a step back, right? It's like, we start today, right? Every day is an opportunity to just chip away at getting closer, right? It's like, compare yourself. There's a Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules of Life. One of his rules is compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Yes. And that's part of this journey, right? Because you can get stuck real fast by comparing. If you guys listen to this, maybe you're comparing to one of us. It's like, man, like, they sound so smooth, they're so fun. It's like, but like, dude, just one day at a time, man. Like you're fine. You're gonna get there. You can't let yourself get overwhelmed with like, but I want to be Brad Pitt right now. It's like, bro,
It's like, all right, start the work right now.
yeah, none
It's
of
like
us are gonna be Brad Pitt probably ever, but that's okay. No, I'm just playing. We can be our own versions, you know.
speaking of
That
which,
man's yeah.
I can't sorry to cut you off. Speaking of which, I think I read somewhere or like I was watching a documentary or something, like despite how good looking he is, when he
Mm-hmm.
first got to Hollywood, like don't quote me on this, but I heard it somewhere or I read it
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. He was at the bar. He couldn't get any girls because he had no game.
Mm,
It's just I heard it somewhere. But all I'm saying is, guys, regardless of whether or not it's true, I won't be surprised because just because you're good looking, that's gonna get your foot in the door. Sure, it's gonna get you away with some things. But at the end of the day, if your game is not tight, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, and if you're a creep, you're going to get rejected. Trust me.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean that's a great point, whether it's true or not, right? Like status and like your looks, like that's always a fun thing to bring up because it's like to tell people like, yeah, none of that matters. Which it's totally true. I mean, I have a buddy, plenty of friends who are like mad short dude, like he's probably like 5'6", but he balls out. He's had like a hot girlfriend for years. Yeah, does it make it a little bit harder? I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Yes,
You shorter
let's not
guys,
lie. Yeah,
it's probably not easy for you guys. I'm not going to
and not
lie to you.
as easy. Yeah,
Yeah, not as easy. I mean, I'm just being real, but
that's true.
like I think that acknowledgement, like, you know, is perfectly fine to make, you know, because I mean, some people will be like, they'll be so aggressively like, you know, short people like you ain't gonna win, but like, I mean, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie for y'all. You have to be extra confident, right? Like, there's
Yes,
confidence, and then when you're short, you got to be a fucking baller because I'm not. It's not gonna be me, but some people are gonna try to like hate on you, ladies especially. Like they'll be like, you know, I don't want a short man or whatever. Like, so it's gonna take that extra. And we all have flaws and shit.
hundred
That people are
percent.
gonna make fun of you for, whether you're short but rich or you're tall but fucking
People
stupid
are
as
always gonna have
bricks.
something
Like
to say,
it's just
bro.
like, you know what I mean? It's like it doesn't really matter. You gotta have that edge, that confidence, and it's everything we've talked about, right? Building that momentum from everything you're doing, like pretty much the stuff you do during the day. So let's just call it like the 9 to 5, this
Mhm,
window of opportunity to like get better. Like
mhm.
whatever you did during that time, I guarantee you, if you did everything you wanted to do that you said you needed to do, or at least you got really close and you did your best. Like when you go out on that date at 7 or 8, you're gonna be feeling a little bit different. You're gonna be a
Yes,
little bit
of
of a pep in
course,
your step. You know, it's like, man, I had a
absolutely.
good day, a good week. Like, you know, like let's all be real. If we're struggling with work or with anything related to like the stuff we do, you know, like it's a lot. It's usually we don't have as much pep in our step. So it's like it's
Yes.
so important to be crushing because yeah, I'm sure you have some people who watch your page and they're like, "Oh, I just can't get this confidence. Like, where do you get the confidence? It's like this
Listen,
is what we're
guys.
talking about. It's not an
Honestly,
overnight thing. Mm-hmm,
what I've learned before
mm-hmm,
is first you have to know what confidence is. It's the
mm-hmm,
ability to be able to do something and to do it well. How do you
mm-hmm,
get there? You do it a billion times until you're so good at it.
mm-hmm,
Me
mm-hmm.
personally, I don't know about you guys or about you actually, Kevin. My first time I went for public speaking, I wasn't like gonna fall. I wasn't like that anxious, but I was pretty, I was kind of shy. I wasn't that good at it. But after like the
Mm,
fifth to the sixth time, it was kind of natural to me. So think about it that
mm.
way. If I place a random person who's never spoken in public in front of 1,000 people, more than likely they're not going to do a good job. Why? Because they're not confident. Why aren't they confident? Because they
They're not
haven't
getting
done
on
it
that
enough.
stage, bro.
Because they haven't done it before. Or actually, you're right. They're probably not going to get on
They're
stage.
running.
If they can, even if they have the courage, the
Yeah,
guts to even do it.
right.
Like,
That's
because
amazing if they can even
yeah,
get out there and just do it.
yeah. No matter how nervous they are, forget even a good speech. So what I'm saying is, it's going to take practice. It's going to take,
Right.
you're going to have to somehow find a way to make yourself more confident.
Mm-hmm.
Like also when it comes to attracting more women, what we've been talking about throughout this video, most of it wasn't even the logistics of anything. It was just the basics,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Right.
obviously there are other factors that you could work on. One example, if you have your career in check, your mental health in check,
Mm-hmm.
your physical fitness. Another thing you could do that I actually did. See it. I wasn't doing the best in the past couple of years, but I did this year. I got a whole new wardrobe adjust for the summer. A whole new set of clothes, dude. Yeah.
Let's go, dude.
So the clothes before they were pretty good. Like I'd give them a solid 7 or 8. But this summer I went with the best and I chose wisely. I didn't even spend a shit ton of money. But I went to the outlets. They're not too far. I bought what I wanted and what I thought would look good. I'm like, yes, this is perfect for the summer.
Yeah.
So guys, I know you don't want to put in the work, but figure something out. You're gonna have to work somehow, one way or another. If it's
Yeah.
this week, if it's next week,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to somehow sacrifice your time. You sacrifice something, your time, to do something that you actually want to do to become a better version of yourself. Because when you're on that date, when you look really good, your swagger's on point, you're making her laugh. I can only imagine how well you do those things because you're always like good energy, like you laugh. So
Appreciate that.
yeah, bro. So
That's what it's about, man. I mean,
yeah.
look, that's a part of it, man. That's a part. I mean, just like feeling good, feeling good. And, you mentioned one little point in there too that we haven't really talked about, which is like kind of just like this kind of goofy nature, right? Like how can we get you, whoever's listening, to just be a little more relaxed about things? And maybe that's mindfulness, what we've been talking about. Maybe just realizing that none of this shit matters. Maybe that'll help you to be a little more goofy. Sometimes I tell people, like, some people weren't as fortunate. Like maybe you didn't have a lot of like, maybe your upbringing was just really serious and unfortunate. Maybe it was sad. Like it was very difficult. And you're kind of like coming out of that. I'll tell you, like, listen to like some funny podcasts, like find a comedian you like. You have to find a way, right, to associate with some people who have like a positive outlook on life and they make you laugh, because then it's going to, feed off of you. And you're going to be like, now you're going to kind of go about your day. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I've been so fortunate to just, be around people who are always just kind of having a good time. And like, that just rubs off. Like, you just like, everyone wants to just go party and like, just have a good time and whatever. I mean, you don't have to party. Just like when you're having conversations with women, you're just lighter, you're not as like tense and like serious. And, I think everyone's guilty of that, especially today in today's society. Talk about relevant content, like, pandemic. I mean, going on dates right now, it's like, it's very difficult for topics like serious, difficult topics not to get brought up. So that's a whole nother discussion in itself, but being light and humorous, it goes a long way with your success, because women just want to have fun, right? This quote, ladies just want to have fun.
Yeah. Remember I think it was the 80s or the 70s. I can't remember the song. Girls just want to have fun. And it's so true.
It's so my number one song on my playlist, bro.
Guys, just listen. I'll link it in the
Imagine how mad goofy that'd be if like every day I'm just like, woo! Girls just wanna have fun.
If you're confident about
it's not that great of a song. Let's be real, but it's facts.
Yeah, it's just it's facts. It's the title of the song just speaks for itself. And honestly, speaking of them just wanting to have fun, and the point you made about tension and being tense, a lot of these guys are seeing dates as something so serious. It's like, it's not that, like, some of them are seeing it like a mission. Like, oh my God, it's a date. I have to date her. Oh my goodness.
Right.
When really, to be completely honest with you guys, like, I'm not just saying this, to sound cool or whatever, but I don't get nervous when I go out on dates at this point, because I've done it dozens of times. No, more than dozens of times, but because I want to sort out who's right for me versus who's not. Right. So when I go into the date, my mentality is, am I going to like her? And this isn't because I'm narcissistic or I'm arrogant or whatever. I'm just thinking like, okay, is she going to impress me? Sure, she's cute, but is she going to be impressive, or is she going to be just another pretty face, just another nice body? Yeah. You got to think like that, man. You got to have that thought, that thought process, because you, instead of putting them on a pedestal, you're the one who should be putting yourself on a pedestal, not because you're better than others, but because you value yourself so much, and you're not going to accept anything that's not consistent with that self-image. You know what I mean?
I would 100% agree. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to dates, I mean, it's kind of like a balance of, because I, as of lately, am very, and I think forever going forward, not just like something lately, but, I'm preaching intentionality being very conscious about who you spend your time with. So, and that can be difficult because now that might make you more serious on your dates. So it's like, because you're like very like rigid, like I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. So you kind of have to balance that out with like, well, I'm also just here to have fun. So like, it's like you can have this sort of like approach where you're looking, like you said, looking for, this right person, right? But also just being like, hey, well, if it doesn't work, I'm just here to have fun anyways. I already blocked out this time, so let's just have fun. Have a fun night. You may as well have a good time, even if this person shows up and they're just fucking brutally like not your type.
There's been I've had those experiences myself. Not usually, but I've had them.
I mean, it can definitely happen.
It could definitely happen. And like for the guys watching, it's not the end of the world. Like, because I remember years ago, guys, when I first got into this, like my first date ever, I never had my first date until I was 20. That's pretty old.
That's pretty young. I would say this pretty young. Well, are you saying like just like a traditional date? Like you met out at a bar or wait, because you're 20, you probably didn't go to, did you go to a bar?
No, it wasn't my first, honestly, to be completely honest, it's not my thing until today. Obviously I'm well above the age to go, but it's not really my thing. Like I could go if friends are going and stuff, but at the time, like, dude, I was working at Dunkin' Donuts back then in the drive-thru, and then there was a fairly attractive girl who was asking me about my ethnicity. So she was like, yeah, you're a cutie. After she asked me, I was like, oh, okay. Next time she came in, dude, I shit you not, I printed like the receipt paper, and then I put my number on it. I was like, here, text me. She texted me, and then we end up talking on the phone. She was like, I appreciate the fact that you called them. I appreciate the fact that you called me. Guys, speaking of which, always call a girl better than texting. It's so much better for yourself and for her because it shows that you have balls. And also it's because you could tell how well the energy is going between you two. And so I set up the date. Absolutely. I set up the date. I went out with her in person. Before the date, I was so nervous, but surprisingly, once she came, I wasn't nervous at all. It was just natural. It was taken care of. So the point I'm trying to make is just go out there to have fun and just see what happens. Like again, they're lucky, they're privileged enough to be going out with you. See it that way. Like you're spending time with you. See if you like them. You're inviting them to an awesome time that other guys are probably not doing. You're taking her to 2 to 4 different dates over the course of one date. Sorry, 2 to 4 different spots over the course of one day. I like to preach that a lot. Most guys just go for dinner at Fridays and then go home.
Damn, you disrespected them with the Fridays, bro. Jeez, that's disrespectful, bro. Come on now, you better apologize for that.
No, seriously, guys.
That's hilarious.
It's not. I'd rather, instead of just going to one spot and then going home, going to 2 to 4 different spots. They don't even have to be extravagant, because a lot of guys just do that, dinner and then home. Don't you agree?
Oh, I mean, it's something I think is kind of, it's a younger mistake. It's like a naive kind of mistake. Like, first of all, like I don't want to do dinner with a beautiful lady because I don't want to watch her eat a burger and be all mad, nasty and smelly afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like I just want to, if maybe we'll get a drink, maybe we'll go for a walk, picnic, whatever you want to do, whatever your climate is too. It might be fucking cold out, but I think in your first few dates, steer away from lots of food. I think it makes you, when you eat food, you get a little kind of full and tired. It's like, stick to some light stuff. Like, so you guys are both fully like active and like alert. So it's a fun time. Like, I 100% agree with that. Yeah. Maybe steer away from that. The meals.
You're thinking outside the box too, because guys, it's just, I tend to notice, like, when it comes to anything, most people are so boxed and they're so one-dimensional with their thinking. It's not even funny. They think it's just that. What rule says, rule number 37, you have to only go for dinner?
Yeah, to Fridays.
To Fridays.
To Bennigan's, bro. I don't know about y'all, but I take my girl to Perkins late night. we fucking up a big meal, some ice cream. I drop her off, use her bathroom, and then I head out.
No, but
that's
what
my
I'm trying
day.
to say is, like, take her to several spots. Go and also customize it depending on her personality type and your personality type. If she's more of a quiet type, go for some dessert at like a low-key area with like jazz
Mm-hmm.
music or something. If
Mm-hmm.
not, if she's more the adventurous type,
Mm.
have some ice cream and then like walk on the bridge or something and see some nice views.
Yeah.
Be creative with it, because also when you're more creative with it, taking her to 2 to 4 different spots over the course of one date,
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna go home, and then after the date, she's gonna be like, I enjoyed my time so much. There's just something different about him. He took me to 2 to 3, 4 different spots over the course of one date. I felt like I knew him more. I
Yeah.
felt like we connected. That hasn't happened in years, or actually, that hasn't happened ever. So she's gonna text you. She's gonna be like, "Yeah, I had a great time with you. You did everything right." And then, of course, us
Mm.
guys, we're very like our ego takes a hit. We're like, it goes through the roof. We're like, "Yes, I'm the man." You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's totally normal. But I'm trying to help you get there. You know what I mean?
Mm. No, it's an experience, right? Like you have to look at
Right
it like
there.
it's an experience. If you don't look at it as an experience, I mean, the best way to get yourself in that mind frame, okay, well, like how do I like make this experience? Like you want to be a little bit selfish. I mean, yeah, you're right. Like you do if you know her interests and you know her a little bit decently, like
Mm-hmm.
plan accordingly. But yeah, I mean, be a little bit like she, at the end of the day, it dates like she wants you to put this experience on for her. She wants to
Yeah.
just show up, look hot, look sexy, spicy senorita, and you just you take her around. That's what girls want when they're going on dates.
Yeah.
Like they just want to feel like they have no responsibilities. They just show up. Like I
Yeah.
mean, doesn't that sound kind of nice, my guys? But I mean, we're the
Yeah.
masculine dudes. We're supposed to be doing the other thing, but it kind of like look from her perspective. She's just showing up looking hot, and you just gotta make sure she's having a good time with this experience. Which it's as long as you're kind of looking at it from like, what do I want to do? Like, what would be fun? Like most women, like if I do generally like what I want to do on my dates, like they're happy to just like be along for the ride. It's not like
Yes. Most
it's
of
like
them,
what I like
yes.
isn't fun. Yeah, just do what you want to do. If you want to go to an arcade bar, that'd be fun too. Like take her to our
That's
arcade
actually
bar.
really fun.
Yeah,
Because
play some games, NBA Jam. See if she's got some
yeah.
game. If she don't got game, then see you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
Like,
that's actually a really good idea, because there's several things you
yeah.
could do there. There's darts, there's
Mm-hmm.
billiards, pool,
Mm-hmm.
there's air hockey, they like that one too. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of stuff, man. It's fun. The idea is you're there to have
Yeah.
fun. It's not like an interview where you're like this, like,
Mm-hmm.
tell me where you grew up, by the way. What's
Yeah.
your favorite
Yeah.
color? It's too
Right.
serious. It's just the
Yeah.
seriousness doesn't make us comfortable by nature.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You'll get to know her, like if you just pay attention, you'll get to know her more easily than you think if you just kind of pay attention. You don't have to ask like these crazy, like you said, interview type questions. Like, because if you're worried, like, because we have our serious daters, right? And then we have our more young, like they're getting their confidence going and they're kind of just out to have a good time, which I
Mm-hmm.
get. So like there's these two different types of daters. There's the ones where it's like, it's kind of like me now, where I'm like, I kind of have to counterbalance. I'm like, I know exactly what I'm looking for. So I got to be
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, okay, Kevin, like you still gotta have fun though. You already boxed this time off. Like if she sucks, like just make the most of
What
it.
could you do?
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's part of like is like qualifying it to, making sure she's someone you're even interested in to begin with. Don't schedule dates with people who, you can already tell from their bio or whatever, like they're just totally not your type.
Yeah.
Like maybe don't, because especially like we said during this time, there might be some guys who are dating like some girls we talked about before we even jumped on that are just like very polarizing, very kind of like toxic chicks. So do your homework a little bit. Don't go out
Yes.
with women that look like they might be problems for you just because they're hot, right? There's a lot of those ones, the
Oh my
real
goodness.
hot ones, we all know, man. A lot of the real hot ones, they've been getting things spoon fed to them their whole
Oh
lives. So
my
guess what's gonna
goodness.
happen to you, bro? You're gonna get toasted.
Oh my, because think about it this way. More than likely, like a really hot girl, I mean like a 9 probably and above, right? On a scale of 1 to 10. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them, ever since they were like 7 or 8, they've been told how beautiful
Hmm.
they are since she was in first grade. Oh, Timothy
Hmm.
likes you, by the way. And Timothy's in the second
Mm.
grade. So she's been
Yeah, Timothy ain't
validated.
got no game.
Yes. She learned from a young age that the Timothy type of guy sucks.
Yeah, Mike, Kevin, Chris.
Hassan. so what happens is over time, she all that validation, she
Hmm.
legitimately starts seeing herself
pedestal.
in pedestal, but at that point, it's toxic. Actually, it's not
Right,
healthy
right. Yeah, yeah, 100%.
because it's almost sometimes the way I see it is it's not that she's just trying to qualify the guy. She's trying to do anything to disqualify him.
Yep.
I see that a lot of times with these attractive women. It's like I'll be out with them or I'll message them in like these dating apps. First of all, I don't do that like all the time. I do that sometimes because I haven't been on a date in a while, bro. I'm more focused on myself, to be completely honest. But anyways, some of them would give you like their profile would say, "Oh, well, I'm looking for someone who's not boring or whatever." And so my profile says the same thing. I'm like, "All right, it might be a match." I'll message them like,
Hmm.
and then one word answers. It's like, what? You're not even about that life, so don't act like you
Yeah.
are. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. It's true. I mean, it's a sad truth that most of the real hot ones, they're gonna be real tough, most of them. And
Most
do
of them,
you
yes.
you don't want that challenge, guys. You want, like, we think we do, because I think that's kind of like in high school, everyone be like, man, you're gonna go talk to her, like you're gonna go
Yeah.
talk to Charlotte. Like,
Oh,
I
that's a
heard her
good one.
parents are mad rich. So, like, it's like it's we get rid of that challenge, that old ideology that like you need to go get the girl that's hard to get. Like, get the ones that are like they're beautiful, but like they're like they're less of a conflict. Like they're just
Yes.
nice to you. We need to remember, guys, because some of us we've been dating hot chicks. Maybe you guys are watching this. You've been kind of on the streak of just like hot chicks, like hooking up, whatever. But I'm just warning you now. Make sure she's nice to you, because it can happen fast. You might end up in a relationship with a chick who was hot and she looks sweet, right? She's got some sweet qualities. She's sweet to you generally, but then she has this bite to her.
Oh my
Do you
goodness.
want that in your life, bro? Just ask
Fuck no,
yourself, like, do
dude.
you want that around you? Most of you are like, bro, I ain't gonna be with a girl like that. It's like, okay, well then why are you spending, a few times a month with these girls? Be careful, bro, because they might get you in that relationship somehow, right? They might use their beautiful aura to sort of put a spell on you, and now all of a sudden you're in
Oh
a
my
relationship and
goodness.
you're like, how did I get here? Like, she's telling me I can't go to my friend's house right now.
Oh my goodness, man. Some of the things I've heard before from guys who are like in a relationship with like fairly
Mhm,
attractive girls, like they're not even like the hottest of hot girls. I'm not saying that it matters. They have to be with the hottest of hot, but like
mhm.
some of these guys, man, like the things that they're going through, it's like she won't let me go out with my friends. I'm like, what? Wait, just because there's two girls there who are your friends from high school and the rest are all guys?
Oh man,
What's going on over here?
she's taking away your freedoms.
I don't
She
know,
cut your
man.
balls off and she threw them in the ocean.
That's a good one.
You ain't spreading that seed, bro. She took all your masculine energy and she said, "You mine now.
I don't know,
You
man.
stuck with
Like
me."
that's scary. Imagine
Yeah.
being locked in like that, not being able to go out with your
Hmm.
friends from high school.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to bring this topic up, and maybe a finishing topic, and it's kind of like not the lightest one, but I've noticed that because I've talked about this in my trainings with my guys, and I'm like, this topic seems to get a lot of attention from my guys, but also like I think it's just important, is that a lot of what's going on right now in the world, as we know, guys, like feminism is really big right now, and
Hmm.
you might be dating chicks who, like, they say they're about you, and men, and like being with the man, but listen to what they're saying sometimes, and just pay attention, be really, cognizant, because there's a lot of women who don't really, they say they want a man, right? The good ones, like some of the good ones will say they want a man. Really, a lot of times their actions don't show that. They'll treat you like shit. And the second that you have an opinion that's different from theirs, like, they're not very happy. They're like,
Oh my
what the
goodness, man.
hell? You got to be careful. You got to be. It's just it's unfortunate. There's a lot of beautiful women out there that are just very like, I don't need no man type of energy. So if she's telling you that kind of stuff on your dates and you start falling for a girl like that, that's tough, because she's gonna be like, I'm just here to sleep with you. Like, I'm trying to get my bag. Like, be careful. There's just a lot of women who, I mean, we all got to be our best man. That's first and foremost. But
Hmm.
assuming we're doing our best, then now you got to watch out that, some of these ladies may not be about you, and they're just out to have fun. They're just like, which is kind of good, but a lot of them, they're out to have fun, but they're not, there's no intention behind it. They just want to have sex with you.
Yes.
And
Bro, you're right.
Because they're all about their mission. They're more just as masculine as you might be.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's just the truth. There's a lot of masculine chicks out there now, which is like, let's take a step back for any ladies who are watching. I love it. Like, get your bag. But most of you, we just got to be careful, because some of them we don't even align with. There's no polarity. You know, you want, it's like, I think we mentioned last time, it's like batteries, you know, there needs to be a plus and a minus, you know, on opposite sides. So you guys, I'm not saying she's got to be like a hairdresser who's like making dinners for you every night, like hella domestic, but like, just keep it in mind, you know, what type of person she is. Is she a CEO that's like, she wants a man who's going to be like the feminine, or, you know, are you going to be like, just pay attention to the energies that are at play. That'd be important.
Yeah, bro, because as you get more aware with things like this, and for the guys who are watching, you'd be surprised. Like, you'd be surprised some of these women's views, because they're not aware, they're not self-aware, they're not aware of how attraction should work. Like you said, sexual polarity. They think, oh, everything should be 50-50. First of all, I don't even believe in 50-50. I believe everyone should go 100, because then you're taking track. It's like, okay, I did this for you, you did this for me. That's not love. You're taking inventory. That's very transactional. You gave me $2, I gave you a Twix bar, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So that's transactional. But instead of 50-50, you as a man provide of yourself. It's not just about money. You provide of yourself, your time,
your presence,
your attention, your leadership. And then more women are going to be susceptible to following you. They're going to want to follow you. There's going to be some women who are rebels, very polarizing in the bad way. There's the good polarity.
Right.
But they're like, oh no, why should we go here? Why should you pay? It's like, everything's a question. Everything's a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, just, if you're really feminine, just don't go against your nature. But if that is your nature, then it's probably not going to work out. So
yeah. I think most guys that listen, like, you know, they want to be the dude, right? They want to be the James Bond, right? Like, who's just smooth with women. He's like the masculine guy that, like, he's just a leader, right? He's a leader, strong, like all these things. So like, and this is really important for you, because you might try to win, because you might think from some maybe some ego sort of side of you that you can win with everyone just because you know the content and you know how game works and whatever. But I actually have a client who's actually kind of like this, where he gets all this shit. But I'm like, dude, you're trying to win with girls like no one can win with, you know, like she doesn't support you, bro. She's not about you. Like, and it's tough to hear it.
Yeah,
it's like it doesn't plug in, bro. Yes. Like they changed up the USB on the iPhone.
So it's not gonna work.
Like, it's different cores now, bro. Like, it's you got to be careful, you know, because you might, like, that's like a big problem. A lot of guys know everything. I mean, not everyone, but like, you've done your homework. You know how to like date and be good with women, and now you're trying to fit puzzle pieces where they don't belong, because you think like, I should be able to win. It's like, dude, I'm telling you, when you can kind of get rid of that ego, it's like you realize, like, I can't win with a lot of chicks, and that's okay. There should be a very small percentage of women that you can actually do well with. That's how it's supposed to be. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not supposed to be like, I'm supposed to get every woman. That's kind of,
because then who's special?
Yeah.
Because then it's just, they're all the same then.
Yeah. A quick shout out. Like, I'm not good with every woman, guys. Like, most women don't like me. That's just the reality. Most women don't like, I mean, I was gonna say Brad Pitt, but like, you know, it might be different. But it is probably true. Like, if Brad Pitt went up to like 100 girls, all of them like, well, that's really flattering. You're Brad Pitt, but like, you know, it's like, well, I got a boyfriend. Like, I can't.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, at least some of them, right? Some of them are gonna be like, but you know, it's what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. It's the same thing for me. Like, most girls, not because like I lack in anything, but because they're just, I'm not gonna mesh well with them. But honestly, guys, and I'm not saying this again to like be arrogant or anything. Like, when I have my dating profiles and stuff, I put my best pictures, my best profile. It's qualifying, but it's authentic, and it's it doesn't put me on a pedestal, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I deserve X, Y, and Z. So if you're X, Y, and Z, it would work. I don't necessarily directly say that, but that's what it implies. Right. And so I legitimately think I'll be able to attract any girl I want to over there. Do I
Bad,
really?
baddies only. Baddies only with an asterisk.
Baddies only. And with like the angry emojis.
Yeah.
No,
Oh
but guys,
man.
I seriously believe that I'm able to do that. Does that mean every woman I can attract? Absolutely not. But that's the legitimate
Mm,
belief I have out there.
right.
And no matter how attractive she is, I qualify her, I talk to her, and then I see how she is as a person. More likely than not, they're going to disappoint, but that's fine. I'm not being negative. I'm just being
Mm,
honest. More likely than not, they're going to disappoint you. They're not going to be what you're looking for. But just like Kevin said, it's
mm,
like they're the very select few. That's how it's supposed to be.
mm-hmm.
Because then what's special about it? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big thing, man. We have this productive culture right now, obviously, like over the past, I mean, ever since really the smartphone came out, like our productivity levels have shot through all of us of what we can and will try to accomplish in our daily lives. So we try to do the same thing with our romantic lives, our intimate lives. You know, we try to think like, I'm going to meet my wife this fucking month. Like, you know, it's like, guys, like we gotta be a little bit patient. Like, you know, it's like, that's why it's always like focus on yourself, because if you do that, like you'll be in a much better position to meet that person ideally. I think there's a lot of people out there that are just rushing the dating scene. I made that mistake myself, which is why I know it's like you just kind of you end up with people you're not supposed to be with because you're trying to rush the whole thing. You know, it's
Mhm.
like just I think there's something to the universe allowing us to like meet women right on kind of our own terms in a more organic, natural way. I'm not saying like to anyone that don't put any effort out there, but I mean it's more about putting yourself out there from a perspective where I just show up and I'm just mindful and I just enjoy myself. And typically you just attract people that way when you're having a
Absolutely.
good time. So
That's
it's
just how
like,
it is.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're being a certain way because that's just who you are. And so the right
Mm-hmm.
people who are being that same way as you, they're going to be attracted to you. And
Exactly.
if you're not at the vibration that you want to attract someone else, you can't attract them, because if you're thinking in terms of lack and limitation and they're thinking in
Mm,
terms of, future productivity, all this and that, it's just not going to work because the vibrations don't even
mm,
match. Like you said, the universe, it plays a role, dude.
mm,
It's crazy because it does. It works in
mm-hmm.
really mysterious ways, and it's really interesting.
100%, man. And just to give a quick example, like, look, some of us, like, I've been thinking about this lately, the past few months. Like, if you look back at like high school and college, if you guys went to school or whatever, like, you can almost look like I bet you most of you weren't on dating apps during that time. Because
Mhm.
I
I
mean,
know I wasn't.
I mean, maybe in college you might have dabbled, depending on your circumstance. But like, regardless, like there's this point being is that like when you were in high school and college, like you weren't really focused on like dating. Well, obviously, because most of us were younger, but like we kind of just lived our lives. Like school, you were very focused on like getting in grades, going to your college, or focusing on your sport, your extracurricular activities, focusing on yourself, right? Your purpose, whatever.
Mhm.
And it was very organized, structured. Now we're playing the big game after all that. But in these short little mini 4-year thing, like we're focusing on ourselves. And I bet you all of you naturally, organically had women that you met, and it just kind of happened in this beautiful romantic way. If you look back, I know it's our fucking like adolescent, not quite adolescent, but like it's our youth. But like there is something to that. It's like you were just living your life and you were attracting people based off of your like energy. If you can remember, it's kind of like it was just more natural, more organic. I know it's like it's hard to be patient when you get out of that structure, because in
Mhm.
college you're like you just know like whether you're in a frat, you played a sport, or you didn't play any sports, you just extracurricular activities, being social, like you probably met a lot of women just naturally, right,
Mhm.
through your activities. We don't get that as much. We kind of have to just be a little more patient after this whole systematic high school and education system. We kind of like in the big game when we're working and stuff, I think it's a combination of patience and just putting yourself in situations where you can be successful, right,
Mhm.
by just showing up and being who you are. So it's like I only bring up that example because it's like, I mean, I think we tend to get a little impatient, right? It's like it might be a sexual thing because we want to have sex, we want to
Absolutely.
make, you know what I mean, it might be a sexual thing, um but also just might be an intimacy thing. You just need intimacy, which I've been there. I think everyone's been there at least at one point in their life, like
I
where you
know I
just,
have.
yeah, you need one or the two, right? It's like you might need sex, or you at least want intimacy or something. So if we can kind of like build that discipline of being like, I'm just gonna kind of, I want it, sure. Of course, we're all sexual
Of
beings, and we
course,
need
bro.
intimacy. We need both of them, which is hilarious. That's somewhere like in this predicament. We need them, but we also can't like be too like, toxic
Dependent
about
on
it.
it.
It's
Yeah.
like, so yeah, guys, I think that's kind of like my lasting message is just like a little bit of patience and focusing on yourself and letting some of this natural universe stuff happen. And it's much more, I enjoy it too. Like, it's like I've been off pretty much everything, like in terms of dating apps, and like really forcing my way lately. I'm not saying everyone has to be off dating apps, because I still think they're great. I've met a lot of cool people on them. But I
Mhm.
just think maybe be conscious about how maybe some of you guys are going about it. Like, is it like taking up a lot of time, or is it like sometimes they can make you feel bad too, right? Because like I guarantee, like, you're a good looking dude. I feel like I'm a good looking dude. A lot of good looking dudes watching this, and they're not getting any attention on their dating apps, and it's bullshit. It's like, and it's dropping your confidence for no damn reason. Like, I'm sure you all have dope things going on in your lives. Like that profile doesn't mean shit compared to who you are in real life. It's like a
Yes.
resume, bro. How many resumes do you send out to jobs and they don't fucking give you the job? It's like, it's like, it's just bullshit. So don't let the dating apps like drown your confidence in who you are as well.
Yeah, guys, because back to that point, it was a good point. Some guys are just very good looking, obviously. Like they're maybe like
Yeah.
Brad Pitt type. Those guys, yeah, sure, maybe on dating apps they could get more attention than you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that when she meets this guy that she's gonna be like, oh, he's good. Maybe she's gonna be like, this guy's a
Mm,
fucking goofball after 5 minutes of
mm,
talking to him,
right. He's a
But
goofball.
I'm serious, man. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, like me, bro.
Like me too.
It's
But yeah,
amazing.
guys, it just to wrap it up, you guys, the point we're trying to make is don't
Hmm.
focus so much on like tricks and tactics. Because when I was like younger,
Hmm.
maybe like 19, 20, I was focused like, oh, which trick is gonna work? Like, oh, this has no, it don't think of it as a trick or
Hmm.
tactic. Think of it as what's gonna bring me to my goal, and then naturally what's going to attract her more when I'm physically in shape, when I look better, have a better wardrobe, I speak better, I have better people skills, I listen better, I
Hmm.
smell better, I'm more
Hmm.
adventurous, I connect more with people. So who won't want to spend time with you? What type of woman
Hmm.
won't want you? You know what I mean? Give off that confidence, because when you believe that, you're going to give that confidence off, and then she'll be able to pick up on it. So
Personally, brother, I'm working on the smelling better one, man. I just haven't been showering lately. I was just like, someone listening to this, it was like, man,
guys,
I'm just working on my hygiene right now.
guys, for those that don't know, we'd like a donation of a bottle of shampoo, please, to Kevin's
Yeah.
house.
I'll give you my address and put it in the comments.
So a shampoo, a bottle of Axe, and some
Yeah.
cologne too. Maybe toothpaste as well.
Yeah, bro. I need it all, guys. Help me out, bro.
But yeah, man, that's basically to wrap up my point. What about you? Any final points for the people who are
Ah,
watching?
man. Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it on the head with building your confidence, looking at it as like sort of a sacrifice, like saying I'm gonna have to make certain sacrifices, things I don't
Mhm.
really necessarily want to do in order to feel good about myself in turn, right? And these are disciplines too. You're being disciplined about your
Mhm.
workout routine, about your work, your career, building these skills. It's part of life,
Mhm.
and it's part of like just getting to where you want to be with women. We can't look at like, we can't really get good with women without improving ourselves, right?
Mhm.
You can sort of fake it a little bit and have some good dates, and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, if you want long-term success, right, we're talking about long game, like, you want to build yourself first.
Yes, you're gonna have to focus on your mission, your future. If you don't know what that is, still you're gonna have to focus somehow on something that's gonna bring you there. Do your
Hmm.
research, read books, whatever you need to do. Because a lot of you
Hmm.
guys are using the excuse of, "Oh, I'm stuck right now." Yeah, you're stuck, but
Hmm.
find a way to get out. If you didn't figure out
Yep.
the way yet, doesn't matter. You're trying to figure out that
Hmm.
way, so that's progress in and of itself. So
Hmm.
just focus on that. Leverage everything you could, your looks, your
Hmm.
your wardrobe, your style, everything, and then just
Hmm.
be you. And you're doing this for yourself. When you show up to work looking good,
Hmm.
you're not just doing it for women to notice you. You're doing it because, like, oh, this is a better looking guy in the mirror than the one yesterday. So, you know what I mean?
Right. 100%, man.
Yeah, guys, that's just what it's about in general. In the description box, I'm gonna have Kevin's information and his website. So you guys want to hop on this badass coach, his
Appreciate
program.
you.
Yeah, man. So you guys want to do that? I'm gonna have my info in the description box as well. You guys are gonna kill it. You guys are awesome. Work on yourself, and then great things are gonna happen, guys. All right. Any final
Love
words?
it. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Everything he said, man. Keep it up, guys. Thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely, bro. Much love.